Always wondering, I mean, I'm going to be there a long time. What to take, how much to take.
Of all the burdens a mother could bear for her daughter, leaving home to travel 6,000 miles to speak up for her freedom seems an unlikely one.
I mean, I had short moments of panic, this morning.
But if your daughter is 21-year-old Amanda Knox and she's at the white-hot core of an international murder mystery, this journey is simply the latest leg in an 18-month marathon.
Well, I'm excited to go see Amanda. A little bit nervous,
This week, Nightline followed Etta Mellis as she prepared to make her way from Seattle.
Hi. How are you? Good. So is that what I show you?
To Rome, and the 2-hour drive north to the walled medieval city of Perugia.
I've really lost count of how many trips I've come here in the last year and a half. I guess about 10.
For Etta, this has become an all-too-familiar trip.
In a weird, a really weird way, it's gotten to be kind of just part of the routine of life now.
But this is her most important trip yet. Etta is getting ready to take the stand.
How do you prepare yourself to take the stand? How does a mother prepare to take the stand?
I have no idea. I think it's going to be hard. That courtroom is kind of intimidating. You sit in this chair in the middle of the room, facing all those judges.
Do you worry about getting emotional when it's so important what you say?
Absolutely. Yeah, and you don't know what the prosecution is going to ask you. I don't know, what some of the other lawyers are going to ask. The good thing is there's nothing to lie. I just have to tell what I remember. I don't think I can be tripped up when you're just telling the truth. Thank you.
This morning, Etta stepped into this 15th century Italian courtroom, the cameras flashing. She sat just a few feet from her daughter, the first time she has seen Amanda in court during this 6-month trial, because Etta is a witness.
How hard has it been for you as her mother to not be in that courtroom?
It's incredibly hard.
It's a position, I think, that, very few mothers have ever found themselves in.
It's almost surreal.
It is surreal.
It is also very real. Amanda and her former boyfriend, Raffaele Sollecito, are facing life in prison for the murder of Amanda's British roommate, Meredith Kercher. Another man, Rudy Gaudet, has already been convicted and sentenced to 30 years. But the prosecution has relentlessly pursued the theory that the 3 suspects killed Meredith after a sex game that went terribly wrong.
We have Amanda. Amanda's Amanda. We really have no comment. I'm sorry.
Etta and Amanda's father, Kurt, divorced since Amanda was young, are united in their insistence that their daughter could not have committed this brutal crime. Amanda had been in Italy for only a few weeks, pursuing her hard-earned dream of studying abroad, and she had known Raffaele for only a week when the murder happened.
I know she's innocent. I know exactly what happened and how shocked and upset she was when she found out, Meredith was dead. And I know, that we wanted her to come home right away, and she said, no, I want to stay.
She did stay, and just this past weekend, 18 months later, Amanda testified in court. In both English and Italian, she told the 6 jurors and 2 judges who will decide her fate that she spent the night of the murder at Raffaele's apartment. She said she came home the next morning to find the front door wide open.
So she just took a quick shower, and then she noticed some other things in the house, and she said, something's not right.
She said she touched a few drops of blood in the bathroom. I touched them with my finger, she said. They were dried. But Amanda testified she became alarmed when she noticed that Meredith's door was locked and there was no answer. That worried me, she said. I thought maybe she's inside and feels sick. I wanted to kick down the door. I didn't know what we would find. She says her first instinct was to call her mother.
She said, I've come home now and I think somebody's been in my house. And she told me, we can't find Meredith. We can't get a hold of Meredith. And her room is locked. And I said, hang up and call the police.
A few minutes later, this shocking call.
She said, there is a body. There is somebody there.
When police broke down Meredith's door, they found her body under a comforter, naked except for her shirt, her bra on the floor. She had been sexually assaulted, her throat slashed, Etta remembers that next phone call.
I guess I could just hear it in her voice. You know, she was still, I think, almost in shock. And I said, you know what? I'm going to come out.
The worried mother immediately rushed for a flight to Italy to console her oldest daughter. But while Etta was in the air, in Perugia, things had taken a dramatic turn.
I was very, very scared.
On the stand, Amanda explained being at the Perugia police station, giving what was at first an interview to police, which she says then became an all-night interrogation without a lawyer.
The interrogation process was very long and difficult.
Amanda says she was hit and bullied into implicating herself in the killing in a statement she wrote and signed.
They called me a stupid liar.
On the stand, the lead prosecutor wanted Amanda to say who hit her and explain why she would sign a statement if it wasn't true. But her mother says Amanda was simply overwhelmed.
Other than that time when she was so, like she says, the most scared she's ever been in her entire life, her story has not changed one iota.
As Amanda was interrogated, Etta was on a layover in Switzerland on her way to Perugia.
My husband called me and said, there's reporters all over the house. They say they've arrested Amanda. And I said,
You gotta be kidding me.
what?
With her arrest, Amanda was instantly dubbed the angel face with icy blue eyes. Her life was dissected in the headlines and on the internet. And media from around the world swarmed the streets of Perugia and Amanda's parents. What was that like?
I almost thought, okay, when am I going to wake up? You know, this isn't happening to an ordinary family from Seattle.
She called me and
But it was happening, and it was just the beginning.
she was very upset. It was disturbing.
For 5 months, the Italian prosecutors laid out their case, claiming they had enough evidence to prove American student Amanda Knox viciously murdered her British roommate, Meredith Kircher, in the cottage they shared. Amanda's mother, Etta Mellis, struggled to make sense of what could lie ahead.
How do you tell that to your child? You're going to sit in an Italian, you know, in a prison for something that you didn't do.
The prosecution's evidence included a kitchen knife with Meredith and Amanda's DNA on it, and Amanda's DNA mixed with Meredith's blood in their bathroom. But Amanda's father, Kurt, says there is something critical missing from the murder scene.
Not a speck of hair, not a fingerprint, no pieces of DNA to any degree in that room, and have it cleaned up. It is impossible.
For the next few weeks, the defense is presenting its case, trying to convince the jury the evidence is flawed and that Amanda's story is the truth. But her freedom hinges not only on what she says, but how she says it. With the eyes of the world trained on this 21-year-old, Amanda was for the most part calm and confident as she spoke in Italian. She recalled finding out that Meredith had been murdered. I was shocked, she said. I could not imagine something like that. She added, in the end, I only knew her a month. And more than anything, I am thinking of how to move forward with my life. Back home in Seattle, Amanda's younger sister, Deanna, watched Amanda's testimony closely.
Amanda has been strong and confident and is telling her story for the first time, which is what we've all been waiting for.
It was Deanna who 2 summers ago traveled with Amanda,
John Lennon.
shooting this video as they made their way to Perugia.
So are you excited to go visit where you're going to live in Italy?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to actually getting a place to live. It's the big thing that's on my mind right now. It's actually kind of paranoid for me.
And it was Deanna who first found that cottage overlooking the hills of Umbria.
The house is so pretty, and it's very, very Italian, which I knew Amanda would love.
No one could have known then what lay ahead. Certainly not this math specialist who proudly sent her daughter off on what was to be the adventure of a lifetime.
You look at your children and you want them to have these amazing experiences in their life, and you don't want your fear to kind of get in the way of that.
Today, Etta Mellis did what she had to do and took the stand. She told the Italian court that Amanda only wrote the statement implicating herself because she was under extreme pressure.
She felt terrible that she didn't have the courage to stand up to them and say, no, that's not right.
With her daughter looking on keenly, Etta calmly described what happened the morning Meredith's body was found.
She came home to take a shower, and the front door was open. She thought it was odd, but it has a funny lock, and sometimes it doesn't close right.
She said when Amanda first called her, she sounded upset and confused.
And she tried to call Meredith several times, and there was no answer. And now they were pounding on Meredith's door.
Amanda called her mother twice more, finally telling her police had discovered Meredith's body.
They found a person in Meredith's room. I was asking her, are you okay? And she had to hang up the phone because I could hear shouting, and the police wanted to talk to her.
After her 3 hours on the stand, Etta talked to us outside court.
She thought I did great. She just didn't want them to be mean to me. Yeah. That was her big concern. And I said I was okay, you know.
The latest leg of Etta's journey complete, she knows there will be many more ahead for both mother and daughter.
I just hang out here all through the summer, lots of court hearings coming up, and then I'll just be here visiting Amanda.
And as either she or Amanda's father has been for the past year, they will visit Amanda in prison for the 1 hour, twice a week, they are permitted to see her and hold her.
You know, Amanda's just a lovely young woman. She's unique, she's caring, she's kind, and just incredibly honest, and she's innocent of this crime.
Closing arguments and a verdict are not expected until this fall. For Nightline, I'm Elizabeth Vargas.